What's going on? My name is Francis, and if you're new to this channel, consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell because I post a new video every single day. If you want to become a private client, then consider applying for a free consultation by hitting the website that's in the description box of this video. What we're going to be talking about in this video is the secret to letting go of the past, how to let go of the past so that you can live into your vision. Because a lot of us are holding on to the past, not allowing ourselves to fully live into the vision that we're supposed to create for our life. And we can't fully live into that vision if we're still attached to an old story of who we think we are. Because not only are you not going to be able to live into your vision if you're attached to the past, but you're going to carry that pain with you everywhere that you go in life. If you're attached to some past experience in your life, you're going to be attached to not only that thought, but the pain that comes along with that thought and the emotion that comes along with that thought. And your body and your mind don't know the difference between rethinking about that experience versus actually living the experience. And even when you don't bring it up in that moment, you're unconsciously carrying it with you everywhere that you go because you're unconsciously attached to it. So the key here is to build enough awareness so that you can let it go, because you can't let go of something that you're unconscious of. If you're unconsciously attached to something, if you're unconsciously attached to the past, that means that you don't have awareness of it. And if you don't have awareness of it, you can't let it go. And if you're unconsciously holding on to some story of who you think you are based on that past experience that happened, that's always going to block you from living into your vision. You're not going to be able to fully live into that vision. If you want to look at it from a law of attraction perspective, in order to manifest something using the law of attraction, you have to rewrite your story and rewrite your subconscious programming, so to speak. You got to rewrite that part of you that's programmed to think in a certain way. But you're not going to be able to rewrite that programming and have the feelings that come along with that and allow you to be determined to stick to your vision if you're still unconsciously attached to some story about the past that is also telling you something about who you think you are that's not true. Because who you are has nothing to do with the past. The concept and the self-image of who you are can easily be reformulated just by changing your self-image in this present moment right now. You decide the self-image that you want to create for yourself. If you want to live into some kind of a vision, you can easily rewrite the story in your mind and choose a self-image that you prefer. But if you unconsciously agreed to some image of who you think you are from a young age, maybe you were a little kid and you attached to some concept of being somebody that's not confident, or somebody that can't be financially independent, or somebody that can't strive for their goals and create the life that they want. If you attach to that image unconsciously and you're unconsciously attached to that thought, then you're not going to be able to create your dream. And so this channel isn't about law of attraction or manifesting. This channel is about becoming present to the moment and deepening your spirituality. But the thing is, if you can't connect to the present moment and you're attached to the past, that goes hand in hand with creating your vision. Because creating your vision involves letting go of the story. But here's the thing, is that a lot of us are unconsciously stuck in our thinking mind without realizing it. And all the awareness and all the attention and all the energy and all the consciousness is in the thinking mind unconsciously, which creates a false identity to who you actually are. You confuse who you are to be something that you're not, and that involves attachment to thoughts. When you are attached to your thoughts, you create a false identity that has nothing to do with who you are. And if you're unconsciously stuck in your head, because our awareness and our focus is always somewhere, whether consciously or unconsciously. And so if the awareness is in the thinking mind unconsciously, and that thought has something to do with you not being in alignment with who you want to be. Let's say you're telling yourself, I'm not confident, I can't go for my goals, I have a lack of self-worth. If you don't even know that you have that thought happening in the background and you have no awareness of that, you're going to confuse that thought to be who you are. You're not going to see it as just a thought. You're going to confuse it to be who you are in that moment, and then you're going to be attached to that thought. And then you could easily try to replace that thought by doing things like listening to affirmations. But if you're still unconsciously attached to that story of who you think you are, then the affirmations won't do anything for you, because there's still a deep-rooted unconscious attachment, and you have an identity that you're attached to that involves some kind of a self-image. Because if you want to change your self-image, if you want to rewrite your story and complete the past, okay, and completing the past and rewriting your story go hand in hand, because you can't rewrite your story unless you complete the past. But you can't complete the past unless you first become conscious of it first. So that's why becoming present to the moment is extremely important here, because if you don't become present, if you don't become aware of the unconscious thought patterns, you can't let them go. And if you can't let them go, you can't rewrite your story. And you can't let them go if you don't become conscious of it first. So you gotta become conscious of those thought patterns. You gotta become present to the moment. Simply be the observer of your thoughts. The true way to complete the past is by raising your level of awareness, bringing the past up. It'll just come up naturally if you do something like meditation, and then allowing it to be there. In the awareness is the letting go of the past. Completing the past means bringing it to your awareness and simply allowing it to be there. Because when I started meditating every single day 3 years ago, it's been almost like 4 years at this point, what I learned is that I can simply observe my thoughts and allow them to be there and not attach to them. And so what I learned is that, first of all, there's a lot of thoughts that I was unconsciously attached to. Those began to come to the surface. Then I realized that in the allowing of those thoughts, just by simply observing them and allowing them to be there, that is the letting go. Because in the conscious awareness, when I see that thought, I become conscious of it. I say, okay, there's a thought. I choose to not engage in this thought. This is not who I am. I shift my awareness back to the present moment, and I shift my awareness back to the breathing. I shift my awareness back to the core of who I really am. And then I can stay conscious of the fact that that thought playing in my head, that story of the past, has nothing to do with who I am in this moment. And that the only way to let it go is to actually see that thought fully and then disengage with it and let it go. Because what happens is we just keep bringing the past up. We keep bringing it up. We keep allowing ourselves to relive this past experience and bring up the emotions and then carry it over into our everyday lives. But we're doing it unconsciously. And so if you realize that you're doing this and you actually bring conscious awareness to it, then you can actually let it go. Because you start to realize what you're doing. You're saying, wait a second, I actually can realize that my mind is bringing up this past experience and I've been unconsciously attached to it and I've been agreeing that's who I am. But when you raise your level of awareness, you can notice that thought and then just let it go. And the awareness is the letting go. And then that's also the beginning to rewriting your story, because in the awareness and the letting go, now you're in a position to rewrite your story and live into your vision. You can only live into your vision when you complete the past and let go of the thoughts that you're unconsciously attached to. When you can let go of the ego meaning the unconscious thoughts that we're absorbed into, when you can actually bring awareness to the ego, let it go, not allow it to be the ego anymore because you're just conscious of it, the ego meaning the unconscious thought patterns that we're absorbed into, when you can bring this up and disidentify yourself from the ego, what's going to happen is you're going to release the attachment to the old version of who you think you are. You're going to let go of that self-image. And now you're in a position to play any self-image that you want, because you realize the whole thing was falsely created in your mind anyway. You realize that it's all just been a story. It's been a made-up story in your mind. If you think that you're not confident, if you attach to some past experience and think that that's who, I'm not worthy because this happened to me, this happened, dude, it's all a story in your head. It's all completely made up. And it's hard to see that when you're completely lost in the story and you don't want to admit this. But if you actually notice that it is a story, you'll be shocked, and then you can actually rewrite the story. And I know it's crazy, but you'll realize that most of your problems are nothing more than a story that you're attached to in your head. And this goes really, really deep. So this is where you got to put in the work and actually do things like meditation, do things like mindfulness, where you can observe your thoughts and not attach to them, because you realize that it's all just a sham. This whole thing's been a sham and you've been unconsciously attached to it. And you'll start to realize that when you realize it's a sham, yeah, it's hard at first, but now you're in a position to let that go, and now you can live into the vision that you wanted all your life. just by simply realizing you can let it go and it's all been a sham the whole time. It's all just been one big sham and the joke has been on you. But when you can let go of that, now you can actually live into your vision and choose the life that you want for yourself. You can play any role. You can play any role that you want. But in order to reformulate that role once again, you gotta let go of the old story. Now you can live into your vision. Now you can let go of the past. And once again, I know I've been talking a lot about living into your vision in this video, is just letting go of the past. So once again, if you want to let go of the past, you got to just become aware of it, and in the awareness is the letting go. Do something like meditation and you will complete the past just by bringing it into your awareness. Now you can live into your vision as a bonus too. So that's all I have for you today. If you like this kind of content, then consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell. If you want to download a free guided meditation to clear your mind and detach from the ego and finally complete the past so that you can live into your vision, then just download the free guided meditation MP3 by hitting the link that's in the description box of this video. Once again, if you want to become a private client, then consider applying for a free consultation by hitting the website that's in the description box of this video. That's all I have for you today. Have yourself a great day and see you in the next video.